Ignition Credit is an asset finance. We're asset finance, and we're both a broker and a funder ourselves. We deal with about 30 different funders, which allows us to really understand the market and the opportunities that are there. Asset finance in itself is really just a term to describe leasing and hire purchase solutions. We are actually the third most common source of finance after overdrafts and loans. So we're very commonly used. Funding is often used to obtain equipment, tangible assets, from anything from a coffee machine through to manufacturing, plant, cars, and obviously solar. As we've kind of listened to the other panelists today, there is significant cash flow and tax benefits for using it as well. We always say from a tax point of view to speak to your accountant, because obviously the accountant is there to kind of dig in and understand it in its entirety. But for example, on an HP, which I'll go into in a moment, that qualifies 100% for capital allowances in year one. And I'll show you an example in a moment. So there's some really good cost-effective use within it. So within asset finance, you have two solutions, HP and lease. Basically, how does HP work? It's basically you're renting over a contracted period. You take automatic ownership at the end of all of your payments. So if it's a 5 or 6 year term, you make your last payment and you pay a token option to purchase fee, which then allows you to take that ownership. There's no further charges. Your payments are fixed during that time, so you know exactly through your cash flow and can manage your cash flow to know that there's no price escalation, and you know what your payments will be for that entire period. And there's no contract transfer that's needed at all. From a lease perspective, it's very similar to HP, but the VAT is paid on each monthly payment as opposed to having to pay for that up front. And you have got 3 solutions and options at the end that you can either extend the term so that you can move to a more reduced rental, or you can sell the equipment to an independent third party, or the customer can actually purchase it for fair market value. And you can receive tax relief on those lease payments as well. I think from an asset finance perspective, the key for us very much being down here in the Southwest is that understanding and knowing your market and being quite holistic. We understand the kind of the turmoil that everyone's trying to kind of get within green energy at the moment and find their feet through it. So it's about knowing what else and the other options that we can direct our customers to as well, which is really important.
And Ellie, I wonder as well about, you know, because interest rates clearly have been on everybody's minds recently, you know, as they've gone up and up and up. Does that have an effect? I mean, presumably, you know, you know, that does affect what you're paying back with your asset finance.
Yeah, it will concern people. There's been, I think, 13 rises in base rates since December 21. So we've seen our clients go through a huge, and customers out there, huge change with the financial landscape. However, solar is one of the best investments business owners can make, and it's very much, you know, strongly advertised out there because it pays for itself. You know, in most of the scenarios, you're looking at a solution whereby just short of 5 years, you've got payback, and then you're going into a positive cash flow afterwards. I know as well that the MCS data that's available at the moment, that up to August 2023, there was more solar power systems than the whole of 2022, and it was an annual record. So we're seeing that the confidence is there, traction is moving forward. And even the Net Zero Secretary, Claire Coutinho, I believe her name is, she came out yesterday and said that they're looking to very much extend and make it easier to put even more roof space for solar panels. So they're also pushing that forward. So I think now is as good a time as any, and is absolutely the best way to go forward from your green energy perspective.
And Ellie, I wonder if quickly you could give us an example. I've got on my notes here, I've got I do have notes. It says something about Cornish Premier Pasties as a good example of a project you worked on. Tell us quickly about that and just as an example.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cornish Premier Pasties, they've just had 320 panels installed, about 131 kilowatt system. Again, Solar Sense were very much integral to the part of the project there. I've known the client for many years. As my introduction, I've got sort of 30 years within the finance landscape. We're down here in the southwest, but we are very much community based. We believe in the value of face-to-face and being present and understanding our client's business holistically. So Mark, I had known for a long time, and really without kind of explaining his cash flow situation specifically, because that wouldn't be right to do. He knew that from a tax point of view and also from a kind of cost benefit point of view, this was the right solution for him. It was a no-brainer. The payback would be in under 5 years. 20% of his energy was going to be produced over the year, and I think on a sunny day it's something as much as 98%, which is absolutely huge. And obviously from a green perspective, I think he was saving 50 tons of CO2 a year, which is, you know, for the community is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And down here in the southwest, as well as the rest of the country, B Corp is huge, and there's lots of sort of waves making, kind of working at the moment with groups forming to understand that whole green energy perspective and landscape that is out there.